At some
From
point,
the
will
journal.
you send us some of these that you've read? Because I can't. I usually don't want to type them down
Oh,
because I want to hear them the
yes.
first time, and then
You will be.
sometimes I get confused about the characters.
Short is yes. You will have answers to that very soon.
Yeah, I
From
also
the
have
journal.
suspicions on that regarding
Yes.
someone's specific device that is in our inventory.
Oh,
From the journal of Jajan to nephew to Adras, king of Jaland, dated 11/4/52, second, third, and 35th degree of the platinum season. Finally, after 26 days in the Alvar forest, my brothers and I have found the Pyrean spring. I'm still not sure what puzzle we solve, but as soon as Jerobi and Jeb settled their argument, the passage to the spring appeared. We shared our intent with the Kirin spirit of the spring, and she agreed to permit us to perform a ritual of effervescence. We shall perform the sortileginous ritual, and bind the silver winds to our bidding. Thus the kingdom of Pyrrhus will owe us their allegiance. Jerobi plans to muster an army of sword saints to join us in the war against Drakkar. They will remain in Pyrrhus until we need them, and until we find adequate transport for them. As we continue on to the next kingdom, Eos.
Gus next. Okay.
A short one for today. Alright, last time we were in the Quarry of Kings, battling the dandelion. You discover that dandelions are benevolent creatures. They actually are typically brought to most Skylands in order to protect them, specifically from rats, a vicious creature that most individuals in Jaland dislike. You had the issue that the dandelion wasn't too friendly, though. Its voice had been muted,
how many
supposedly
animal handling checks did I fail on that?
quite a few.
Yeah.
Telemachus unable to tame this beast. For some reason, it was enraged, probably because it was cursed by the curse that you guys were able to defeat. However, the effects still lingered in this beast. You were able to capture it successfully without killing it, tying it up using Moritaba's rope and Coakley's martial arts skills to grapple this large cat beast. Tied it all up together, tail, legs, mouth, all that bound together so this creature couldn't fight back. However, at the same time, Moby was able to empower his sortilege, praying to the statue of Odros, the Windweaver, mother of Jiri and Drakkar. You were granted 3 uses of the Remove Curse spell with your sortilege. Your sortilege is one of healing. Thus, Odros was able to grant you with the ability to cast some magical spells to remove this curse. You used it on the dandelion, and you used it on your 2 friends, Telemachus and Moritaba, both of who were deaf. Deaf, and on the Dandelion, who was mute. So you removed all 3 of those curses, using up the sortilege, and you will have to find another way
Rip Shin.
of recharging that sortilege in the future if you wish to cast free healing spells once again. You guys went down into the Quarry of Kings. You saw all the statues to all the different Jinn and the Jinlings, the direct descendants of some of the most prominent Jinn. Specifically the Sons of Jin, Jiri, Drakkar, and the Sons of Amos, who include Jerobi, Gentoo, and Jebulus. And you discovered that Jebulus was with you this whole time, in disguise as Jan. Jan, actually, Jebulus.
So
Yes.
one of your first NPCs ever was Jeb Nebulous. And
Yes.
is this
Yes.
all your like you in the name Jeb? Just there's something there, and I kind of need to know about it.
Oh, I just, it's a reoccurring name. There's always got to be like a Jeb somewhere in the campaign, right? So,
There does.
There does.
That's the rule, and I'm not. It's not coming together.
I don't know.
All right.
Just a
I'll
thing.
leave.
Just a shtick.
I like it.
Doesn't really make sense, but we're going with it. Either way, Jeb is Jan in disguise for similar reasons that Jiri was in disguise. You later discovered that Jiri was with you this whole time as well, disguised as Jay, the person who never spoke because his breath stank. When he did speak, it was a little bit better, but still not pleasant. His winnow is still infected with the materium, air from the material plane. Winnow is like kind of like an extra organ that exists in all Genasi. So the only one that would have one would be Moby. Hence why he was able to bring in a sortilege into his own being, into his winnow. It's kind of like an extra lung, almost a spiritual lung, so to speak, that is able of holding air within it. And so you guys all pray to the different statues. However, you learn that if you wanted to be gifted a sortilege from these gods that are now kind of observing you and watching you throughout your journey, you're going to need to find a vessel for them, some type of magical contraption to hold your sortilege in it, kind of similar to how Jiri had a bottle of Orin air that he brought into the material plane with him to hold this sortilege. For a winnow only exists in Jaland. If when you travel to the material plane, your winnow gets filled with materium air, hence Jiri's stinky bad breath. He discovered that Jiri's goal is to, and Jan's, they both had a similar goal, which was to defeat Jaw Drakar, reclaim the kingdom of Jaland, and prevent Drakar from turning Jaland into a world of darkness, right? Right, that's kind of what Jiri's and Jan kind of explained to you all. What is happening, the reason why the world is getting darker has to do something with Drakar and his evil plan for Jaland, the storm clouds that he's mustered. You learn that Jiri once did a ritual of the Haka in order to power himself up. He was able to claim 4 of the winds, but even that was not enough to defeat Drakar. The 3 brothers of Amos attempted 30 years later. They did a ritual of Sortilaginus, which was a binding ritual, mustering the armies of 3 of the kingdoms together to try to defeat Jakar, but they were also defeated. So now a new plan is needed, and you were asked by Jiri to form an alliance together. He's been observing you all, believes that you are all noble and worthy heroes to go on this adventure with him, travel to gain all of the powers from all of the winds. And most notably, right now, there is a new wind that is being created, a 5th wind. And so a good starting point for becoming more powerful than the last 2 times is getting an extra wind that you guys didn't have or they didn't have prior to this.
So this was hero tryouts for Jiri.
Yeah, this was hero tryouts for Jiri, and he's been observing. That's why he's been sitting back, not helping you guys out. And he gave you all praise. He was impressed by Moby, your leadership skills, your voice, your charisma. Coakley, your martial arts skills, and Telemachus, your magic and your sword fighting, and then obviously Moritaba,
Your arms.
the ability to carry things. Yeah, yeah.
Love that.
Absolutely.
He meant it in a
Oh,
probably
I think-
sounded insulting, but I think from his perspective it was a great
I think
I
anyone
think
doing an
honorable.
insight check could tell he wasn't trying to insult me, but it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
definitely comes off that way.
And Moby is like dutifully agreeing, like, yes, exactly. Like,
Look at my arms. Look at my arms.
So yeah, we ended kind of here in the quarry. We're gonna have some NPC conversations to kind of get us back into it, and then we'll take off from there. But the goal is to complete this ritual. There was kind of a conversation about what ritual to actually undergo. Sortolaginus, Haka, and
Umbra.
which one am I missing?
Umbra?
Umbra. Were the three options that were described to us. There may be other rituals, but you have met no one that knows how to perform those as of yet. This ritual, or like mechanically, it might seem a little nebulous, but what I'm going to have you guys do when we do the ritual is you are going to like kind of describe your role in it, right? Like obviously there's the totem, right? So there's the aspect of which gods are going to be present for this. And then there was obviously like a the different aspects of a spell. Like you have your material components, your verbal, your somatic, and so each one of you will have something that you're contributing to this ritual, and that'll kind of represent kind of like how you are performing it, and it's going to take place at the spring with the guidance of the Kirin. However, the Kirin spirit needs to allow you to perform this ritual, and there are other parties back in Selkirk who aimed kind of to take that spot and perform the ritual for themselves. But for now, Jiri has guided you on and is claimed that he is starting this kind of pilgrimage to go and perform this ritual at each of the springs of the major kingdoms. And he wants you all to join with him. And the music stopped for some reason. But we shall head back to the Quarry of the Kings. Let me take you guys all there.
And I know we're thinking about we need to get these pictures that we've captured back to Tenet so that he can start working on his totems. And as a reminder, I'd love to go through and just hyper confirm exactly which Jinn we took pictures of.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's see. I'll let you guys kind of describe that since I think it was Coakley that did it. So Coakley, would you like to remind us who you took pictures of?
I took pictures of. I think they're the three most recent ones in the. Oh no, those are who we prayed to.
Which is also who I recommended we include as part of it. So it's like Adras, B, and C, and then the three gods you guys prayed to, and then I have dedicated myself to Jiri, who's going to be in attendance. So I don't know if we even need a picture of Jiri per se or Jan because they'll be with us. So I think it was like Adras, the three Jinn you guys prayed to, and then I don't think I have great notes on the others we chose. Like Odros might be good because she's giving me some power.
That's what I was going to say we should do if we didn't. Because that's right there.
So if we feel like Jeb and Jiri can be left out for the sake of they are the ones kind of performing the ritual as we aid them, then I'd say that leaves us with Andras, the three we picked, and then maybe Odros and Amos. Kind of what I'm
okay, so
towards.
Adras and Odros seem to be good. Rusarina for Telemachus. Yi-Gaven for Coakley.
Yes.
Cotage, which it wasn't just Cotage, there was another word associated with her.
I should say something.
Cotage of Pyrus. Yeah.
Just as like an aside asterisk for me this session, I've had to make a decision that means that I have, this is serious job stuff for a sec. I'm not going to be doing a leave, so I need to resign, and effective tomorrow, I will lose access to all my educational materials from the last 6 years. And so I'm going to be in the background doing some mindless transferring of stuff that it's just taking me a long time, and I have to use some of this time for this. So if I'm a little absent or if something is relevant, like I can come back, but there will be like certain in between times where I'm like, I don't care about this and what they are going with, so I'll let them. I'm just going to be a little backseat for now.
Got it.
Okay.
And so, Chris, what you were talking about is each one of these, the Jinn that the three of you pray to, are associated with a specific kingdom.
Yep.
And so the one that you pray to, Ko Taj, is most notably
Well,
from Pyrrhus,
Moritaba.
which would be
Yeah, Moritaba prayed to
oh,
him,
Moritaba.
them,
I
her.
apologize. Yep. The two of you would be very familiar with this Jinn.
Yep. Yep.
Like pictures and statues of this Jinn would be all over Pyrrhus, where you two are originally from. So this would be like a very familiar like statue to go to for both of you.
So Adras and Odros. Odros I have a connection with because of a sortilege. Adras is Adras. Rusarina, Yigaven, and Kotaj. That's 5. So what was the 5th one we were thinking about? And I do have a proposal. Amos because of the father of Jan. Okay. That's cool. Oh, because Jan was praying to Amos also. So that's another source of sortileges coming to us. Like, we carry these individuals as blessings. Very cool.
So part of this is that there is going to be somebody that is left out, and so we should note who
Yes, and so
isn't
so
selected.
which would be Gri Altas of Eupartia connected with the Platinum Wind, which I think is narratively fun. That once again, it's been hard. When the Sons of Jah, when the cousin trio brothers, they notably did not get the binding of the Platinum Wind, right? They got all the rest of the kingdoms and then went and failed. So once again, almost history repeating itself. There's something difficult about that location or requiring additional attention. So it's almost just like a little bit of the past rewriting itself. How can we not let that off our radar? But yeah, Gri Altas would be the one not included in this.
Not selected. And maybe this is the statue that, like, because it wasn't selected, you don't feel like this individual Jinn is watching upon you at this moment. Maybe even he is unwilling to grant his presence to you all. So maybe you feel this lack of connection, which is another reason why maybe you don't select it as one of your pictures.
And rather than us just inciting that, it'd be cool if Jan sort of mentioned offhandedly or casually that, yeah, I don't sense him here or them or her.
Yeah, absolutely, right. He did mention that the gods are with us, but maybe he does mention that Grialtus, like when we first did ours, is not present at this moment.
Very cool. Okay, so I think we've got our 6 chosen.
Oh, and there's probably one other one that we should mention that isn't selected as well. The Faceless Jinn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The Titarion.
of the
Pre-spine.
yeah, the ash Jinn spine. Was it, what did you say it was? Was it
Of Mortis, which was the
Mortis,
original which was the original version of the spine. Let me check my spelling on that really quick though. Mortis. They're people known as the Hiawatha, the Ash Genasi, do no longer have a kingdom. It was destroyed during the Jin Wars, long before even Jiri and Drakkar were born.
Could I ask Jan, does he
Yes.
feel any version of connection to Tarion? Does he feel his presence here or not? Or is his presence scattered to the winds because he was destroyed?
He says, and he goes and he kind of sits in front of that statue as if to pray to it. And he says, I do feel presence here. Titarion watches over us, but as an enemy of Jaw Adras, it might be wise to leave him off our totem.
Good to know. It's interesting. How do you, I mean, we could just leave him off for sure, but then also, is there a way to, even in the face of leaving him off, still respect, you know, his lost children that are still living here? how to cater to their importance culturally without saying you guys are descendants of the bad god. Because we're also trying to win them over. Like, they're residents of Selkirk, of who we are trying to rally to our cause. So I'll be thinking about that, because at some point I'm hoping to give a little mini speech of some kind in the ritual.
Alright. Well, Moby, Jan/Jeb is going to, after praying to Titarion, he's going to walk over to you and point to the 3 statues of the sons of Amos. And he says to you, do you see those statues there? Those are my brothers. Then he points towards the first one. That is Jerobi. He was a fierce warrior, noble and just, yet stubborn and unyielding. Obi would make a great ally if we could find him. I am sure he is here in Jaland somewhere. If our journey leads us to the other orbiting kingdoms, we should seek him out. For I have searched the spine and have yet to find him. I believe he must be elsewhere.
Very well. What of your other brother? Gen 2, it looks like he's called.
You see his face kind of distort a little bit. Yes, the other is Gen 2. And you hear his voice kind of takes a somber intonation. Cunning and crafty he was, but lazy and unfocused. He never took our task to heart, and in the end, he betrayed us. My memory of this time is hazy. My banishment to the material plane ravaged my mind, and I have difficulty remembering what specifically occurred, but I do remember the pain of betrayal from a brother I trusted completely. A great ally on our journey. And if we seek him out, it would only lead to bloodshed.
The nature of his betrayal, is that what led his face to be marred here upon the stone?
Yes, indeed. It was not I. I wonder if it was my brother. That's why I searched here in the spine first in an effort to find Obi. But he must have moved on since then. You can see the cuts in the stone are fresh. Yes. Most likely the work of my brother.
Very well.
But Gen
We will
2's
keep
The Gen 2's betrayal brings up another important point. He was unfocused on our task. Oust Drakkar and reclaim the throne of Jaland. We must not be. We must convince the others to follow this path and no other. I know you are very loyal to Jiri, but this is more important than any of the sons of Jah. If the 2 of us, Jiri and I, should fall on our journey, you and your new allies must take up the mantle.
I just regard him with no clear body language indication of acknowledgement, almost just literally passively hearing him, because that's not something I'm ready to take on. But I hear his words out.
Even with your arms, that'd be a tough burden to carry.
Well, not my arms, Moritaga's.
Well, he'll turn and move over next to Coakley, sensing your hesitation to agree, continue on the mission without them. He'll nod and move over to Coakley, and you'll notice that after the battle, Sorrel, Alvar's staff, kind of snaked out of your hand, immediately returning to its master. But once again, I think this is for the 3rd or 4th time, Jeb will toss the quarterstaff to you.
I will attempt to catch it.
You'll catch it.
16.
Let's see how nice. Yeah, let's see how nice you catch it. Go ahead, make a dexterity or sleight of hand check for me.
Is
Easily caught.
Nice. All right, you snatch it out of the air. This time, much easier. Since the two of you are a little bit more stationary than running across the battlefield, catching it. And he says to you, "Persuasion is clearly not your strong suit. So we will need another tactic if you are to bind with an Alvar weapon. Our journey should take us to Pyrrhus. At least one of us in our group here should be prepared if the Alvier should bless us with a living weapon. Perhaps you could be the first in 30 years to receive such a gift. For 3 decades, the yokai have tried but failed to impress the spirit of the Pyrean Spring. But maybe a different sort of individual is needed. Sorrel says he has never met a being made of metal before. You're clearly not from Jaland. Don't mind me asking, where do you come from?
Originally from the
What
material plane.
what are you? Again, if you don't mind me asking, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm also confused by your physical form.
I am the technical definition is a steel defender companion to one Miss Lady Roulette Tinkerton. She was my maker.
Caravel's body language shifts.
She built me as a bit of a combat companion many years ago. Gave me sentience and taught me most of what I know as far as combat goes. Some I have begun to learn on my own.
That I can see. Your skill with Sorrel is to be commended, but your control over it needs work. Like I said, you'll need another tactic. I would not use persuasion. Maybe logic or reasoning, or maybe just impress it with your skill. You'll need something else.
Truth be told, I am not one normally used to exerting my I don't know the right word I'm trying to think of. Exerting my influence over my influence and will over others. I tend to be a follower, told what to do, instructed how to act. So you are correct. That might not be the best method here. I'll try to think of something else, a way to, and I'll like flip the stick up in the air to like twirl it a few times or something. Way to impress Sorrel here.
Yes. Another tactic, for sure. Let me know how it goes. And we're going to transition over to Jiri, who's going to move over towards Moritaba. And Moritaba, you see Jiri beginning to don his like hooded poncho disguise once again. And he says to you, "Moritaba, I have observed your skill with spear and bow in battle against the storm clouds and those curses. Already you have proven yourself as a worthy ally. Your power is to be commended. But to defeat Drakkar, you must go beyond what is possible for a mere Jalandi human. When I completed my pilgrimage to bind the winds 70 years ago, I completed the ritual of the Haka. I bound all 4 of the Jalandi winds, silver, copper, gold, and platinum, to my winnow, granting me power that even a djinn would envy. But still, it wasn't enough to reclaim the throne of Jaland. I will need allies with equal power this time. But only a team of extraordinary heroes will save Jaland from Drakkar and his dark storms. You must be one of those allies." And he puts his hand on your shoulder and nods approvingly.
If this task is to fall upon me, I will carry its burden to the very end.
Excellent. And he's going to take a tactic that Jan also took with Moritaba, and he says to you, "If I should fall in battle, Moritaba, it will be your task, your goal, to reclaim the throne. Will you do this?"
Moby's body language off to the side again is really reflective and confused, looking at Coakley a lot, and then he shakes his head and alertedly looks over to Moritaba. I'm fucking sorry, what?
When a righteous path such as this is decided upon, and it's never about any one individual. If any one of us should fall, the others will carry on.
We continue.
Wisdom. Yes, indeed. Did not know you had such insights into leadership. Like I said, you will make a worthy ally. Yes. Any of us should fall. This is a team effort. Together, we are stronger than an individual. I learned that on my first pilgrimage. This time, I will do it differently. I will need you all of you, to aid me in this journey. But for now, I must redon my disguise. From here on out, I will return to being Jay. Quiet, mute, cursed individual. And he puts his hood up, finishing his disguise. Telemachus, no NPC comes to speak with you. However, I would like to talk about your gemstone that you found very recently.
Oh yeah, I'm holding it.
This mystical geode you found pulses softly with arcane energy as it sits in your hand. Powerful yet invisible to all but the Kirinkin. You sense the gemstones inside the crystals inside, and you hear faint whispered echoes within. The closer you are to a Kirin spring, the louder these whispers will become. Not to the point where they'll be like annoying or disruptive in any way, but enough that it'll help guide you towards future springs. All manner of magical potions can be absorbed and stored within this gemstone, making it a coveted item for alchemists. The outside of the geode is made of a pale white stone, streaks of mauve that stands out starkly against the dark gray stone of the Quarry of Kings. You've seen this stone before. It is of the same material that is made of the outside of Ithaca, your home. That vibrant color is seen only in one other location in the quarry. So apparent that you don't even need to make a perception check for it. The 20-foot diameter orb that rests above Ja Adras's head, symbolizing the reliquar, the soul of Jaland. Object that grants heat, warmth, the gravity in the Jalandi galaxy, binds all things together, condenses the sand that makes up the stones. All originates from the reliquar, and this symbol of it is clearly a geode of the same make as the one that you hold in your hand, yet probably 10 times the size. And a geode of that size, you know, is nearly priceless in value. As you gaze up towards it, I would like you to make a perception check.
Oh yeah.
Something going on there too, with something of the moon representing the reliquar, the sun.
Ooh, I think a flat 10. Let me check my whiz real quick.
Let me check my
Many
whiz.
Oh, I have Telperian's sheet open. That doesn't do me any good. Telemachus. Yeah, flat. Oh no, I have perception 12.
Is all right. Good enough to observe a giant that this like as you're observing this giant geode, a large crack kind of begins to form on its surface, and you hear kind of like a sharp crack that echoes to the quarry. No one else seems to notice where that sound comes from, besides you.
I'll point. Is that good or bad? The geo just cracked. I don't know much about Jin magic,
And
but
so you all
doesn't
see
that
the
represent
same thing.
doesn't that represent Audros's power?
And also, people have been reporting that the light is dimming.
Yes, but Andros is always depicted with the sun, the reliquar, that is in close proximity to the south. They use
Wait,
south or degrees, but
and isn't there something odd about the way he's holding this orb because it's like only with one hand instead of two?
well, typically he is depicted as holding it high above himself. This is like cradling it lower, right, Moritaba?
The plots. Typically, it's shown in his hand. In this older Ori,
Oh, okay.
depiction is above his head.
Oh. So Moby was wrong?
Moritaba has
Moritaba was wrong.
been, yeah.
As you're watching this, the crack continues to kind of, like a bolt of lightning going across the sky, but in slow motion, starts to crack, growing bigger, larger across its surface.
Veronica, stop looking at it. You're breaking it.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having the pieces of that. That would be wonderful, but that's bad, right? I don't know what to do about it. It's like watching a comet fall.
I just look to the sky to like make sure nothing environmentally is changing. For me, this feels not curse related per se, but almost like a ill omen.
Still no presence of a curse, none of that sickness that you originally felt. However, one of you does get this feeling that we've all experienced before, or all of you have experienced before, besides this individual. Moritaba.
Oh.
Kind of a sickening feeling settles in your stomach. The air, the wind around you seems to be stronger than usual, right? Like almost like you're sensing a shift in the breeze. Typically, it's a constant kind of breeze that exists, very cool, soothing, but the same speed always, right? So you don't really notice it. You kind of like ignore it after a certain time. You just get used to it. But like this acceleration of the wind is most noticeable to you.
Jan, you mentioned the Jinn were here with us. Would it be naive to hope that that excludes Drakkar?
I wouldn't dare sit in front of that and speak to him.
I feel a
But
disturbance in the breeze. Something's off here. If Drakkar is in control of the Reliquar now, I don't know that I see this cracking as a good sign.
Do you feel he is
Indeed, it is
watching
not.
over us now? He knows about our actions here.
No. His face was blurred. His presence could be here, but his vision would be altered. He would not be able to see our faces and know our plans. But still, this is an ill sign. And again, it continues to the point where it almost takes up the entire half, and then all of a sudden, with a crack, the front half of this gemstone kind of just falls. And you guys watch it, descend 100 feet. This large, huge 20-foot rock falling in the air. Back, calls Moby. It slams into the ground and shatters into 1,000 pieces, tens of thousands of pieces of splintered gemstone and rock. Need you all to make dex saves as this stone crashes down, probably in this location over here.
I'm so good at dex saves.
I bet I'm better. 7.
I rolled a 4.
Ooh.
Probably like +3 though. 7. Yeah.
14.
One for Jan. One for G.
Out of curiosity, could I give disadvantage myself to jump toward Jiri, sheltering him to give him advantage? Is that a thing I could do?
Yes. Roll again, and I will
Yeah,
let Jiri roll again.
Hell yeah. So 14 will still be the reigning roll.
Woof. Sorry, Jerry. Alright. If you got a 15 or above, you're going to take half this damage.
Hit me. I'm ready to shield it.
Jiri will fail next to each other.
10 damage as shards of this geode, this half of a geode, from this impact, kind of rain around you all. Dex save to dive out of the way to take half, only taking 5 damage on a success, 10 damage on a fail. And now this gemstone. This is what it originally looked like. Now,
Quite popping up for us yet.
oh, it wasn't there?
It was not there. Oh.
It was
Oh,
above.
I just deleted it.
Do we need a... Sorry, I thought you were blowing something up.
Nope, sorry. And then, hold on. Boom.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, sick.
Now it's kind of like split open. And I will, yeah, I'll show you guys.
Oh,
Split
look at that
open.
geode. I'm like embedded with shards, and I'm so excited.
However, yeah,
embedded
as you
with
guys
honey.
look up, inside the geode, however, yes, you see this creature.
It was an egg.
Inside, as the front half breaks off, inside the hollowed gemstone sits this beast right here. A Jalandi rat, gorging itself on the gemstones inside. This is what a typical one looks like, but I want you to imagine this, but like fat and bloated. Maybe even like pieces of gemstones sticking out of its stomach because it's eating these shards.
Jesus.
I think
Assuming
flame it. I can't. It's 30 feet. It's 60 feet away.
Consuming the power of this reliquar within, or consuming of this symbol of the reliquar, this gemstone.
Where am I?
I'm more than happy to take a shot at it.
Hey, get away from that! I yell.
I got a 150-foot range on my bow.
Did we short rest?
Yes, you all received a short rest while you were here.
Oh.
So anything from a short rest, I'll give you guys, since we've been here chatting long enough, and this is still water from the spring.
Oh, true.
So a short rest takes
Ooh,
place in
fabulous.
shorter time than usual.
I gain a spell slot back from my arcane recovery.
That means I have 2 more HP.
Oh, I can hit this thing. I hold it in my hand, and my antlers flare with the colors of a geode, and my hand illuminates, and is there any verbal component? Verbal and somatic. And I blast a bolt of like white fire out of my hand at the rat, and I want to guiding bolt it.
Rat hasn't noticed you all yet, but if you are going to take attacks and actions on it, I will each, if anybody has a range attack, I will give you 1 range attack against this creature before we roll initiative.
What did I? I think I rolled a nat 20, but it's not coming over.
There it is.
Because I actually did. I didn't even mean to roll.
Ooh, all right. So enraged by this creature, this one of the three
Dude.
evils of Jaland, Rat's
Stop
curses
eating the
and Rat's curses and storm clouds. You found the third one finally. Rats, Jalandi rats. Telemachus blasts it with a guiding bolt for 30 radiant damage. Holy shit!
Hell yeah.
Alright. Takes a big chunk
Telemachus
out
is
of it.
pissed.
And I'm happy to take advantage of that advantage. And
Yeah,
All
and
right.
I'll follow up with an additional projectile after you, but you can benefit from that advantage, Moritaba.
I'll let you guys kind of decide the order since it's kind of out of combat.
it's 14.
I didn't
Bonus
roll with
attack.
advantage.
Do I use my thing? No, I do not. That's 14.
I rolled a nat 20 afterward to see what I would have rolled if I rolled the dice.
Jeez.
That's how it works.
What did you roll? A 14 does not hit.
Ooh.
Jalandi rats are very durable. They have a hide. It's difficult to penetrate. So your arrow bounces off of its skin
11 will
harmless.
go wide.
Yep. Crash into the gemstone beside the rat.
I love the idea of fighting a fat rat.
Oakley, anything for you?
I pick up Sorrel and I I like cock my arm back as if to throw, but then I'm like, I don't think I can reach, and I don't think my first act should be getting rid of this stick. So I will just ready myself. No attacks though, because I have nothing that can reach.
So, in the meantime, we probably should have gone back to this before the rat showed up, but what are you doing to convince Sorrel? Or what are you doing to practice with Sorrel? Or what's your method here? Like, how are you interacting with it?
I do think I would have gone the route of like, I need to not overpower you. I need to treat you as a respected peer, and I would have like done just a lot of like mental communication of talking about like synergies and working together and symbiotic
You
relationship.
board it?
So I think I'm trying to do a more like tactical brain. So instead, I don't.
I mean, this feels wisdom more than charisma.
It does feel wisdom, which is
Yeah.
what I was gonna have you roll to try to see. Is this?
You're trying to learn to a stick.
Yeah, learning about each other's shared experience.
And I think I would have going back to like the question from the day, and then also talking about like I just mentioned, I used to have a maker. I would have talked about like how working with someone else over the long term improves you and your tactics. Trying to
Ooh, okay.
to share that wisdom.
Making it personal like that, I'm gonna give you advantage. However, the downside is gonna be, if you are unsuccessful this time, it will no longer be a +1 weapon for you.
Bye, Sorrel.
Jeebus.
Because it already went down from +2. Oh my god.
We got heroic at the end of the last session, I think.
I don't know that this weapon is meant to be mine. I truly don't. I will use my heroic inspiration to roll one more. A single die.
Thank
16.
Sensing your acts of heroism, Sorrel will finally agree to kind of listen to your suggestions just for this battle. He's going to try it out, and he's going to see how it goes. Therefore, how this is going to work is when you want to use one of the weapon mastery properties, you kind of have to like call your shot, basically. So the turn before, you have to pick which one you want to use and how you envision using it ahead of time to get the use of it, if that makes sense. So like right now you'd be like, all right, my first turn I'm readying my action. I want to ahead of time use the nick property or the push property, right? You're almost making a plan ahead of time and sharing it with Sorrel.
Collaboration.
if you want to use any of the Western weapon mastering properties. Otherwise, it only has whatever the quarterstaff has, which I think is topple. Yeah. So if you wanted to switch from topple to like push for a turn, you'd have to plan it out ahead of time, if that makes sense.
Yes. Just when you say the turn in advance, is that like just before I take my action or anything, or like
The end of the turn.
So
prepare?
Okay, so
yeah.
so it would be for your first turn, it'd be after you roll initiative, and then also at the end of your first turn for your second turn.
Okay, gotcha.
Hell yeah.
And for in the future, when it's for ranged weapons, if we ever get a living weapon ranged weapon, the call your shot has to be you have to pick the place that you're going to be shooting at ahead of time.
Whoa.
Yeah, but maybe we'll get there eventually. All right. Okay. So that being said, is there a plan that you want to direct? Is there a weapon master property that you would like to use?
Nothing for this first turn because I am like 200 feet away from this thing and I notably cannot reach it. I'll start talking to Sorrel. Be like, is there any chance you can go really, really, really far?
Powerful.
Yeah. Which actually, I know the pole does extend. So that'll just be like my first. I'm mostly I'm not doing anything because I know I can't reach. But I will try to convince or ask Sorrel if they can become a 200-foot long quarterstaff.
Jeez.
Yeah, you get like an image in your mind of it like extending 10 feet. Like, but then you see it like kind of like it stretches even farther, like it spaghettifies almost, you know what I mean? And then it like pokes the rat, but it's like you see that as more of a like
could
that
see
would be
that, but
cool, but
Yeah.
But
no,
no,
it
nothing.
cannot reach 200 feet. All right,
I won't
sweet.
take anything.
Then we will all be rolling initiative.
Hell yeah.
Initiative.
Hold on, yeah, let me click on it. Sorry, go ahead.
I rip a chunk of shard out of my chest and blood starts to pool down. I am bloodied from that environmental damage.
Oh yeah.
I guess here's a
Damn.
question. Initiative is kind of funky with heroic inspiration because like you roll it and then I'm looking at my screen and I see the table, so it's hard to like decide I want to re-roll it without seeing the results. I wonder if there's a way to resolve that satisfying.
I would be fine if you want to use heroic inspiration or initiative. I'd be fine with you after seeing everybody's turn. You know what I mean?
I feel
Because
like
it's like
That
fair.
feels fair game. Yeah, you're expending
Yeah.
a valuable resource to do better on a thing. That's fine. Yeah.
And because it's like you don't know what you're gonna get, right? Because you could still roll poorly, right? It doesn't,
And that's
you know.
the big risk with the heroic is if you roll average and then you try it again, you have to use
Yeah.
whatever comes up.
Yeah, you just know where you're at on initiative order, so that seems fair to me. All right, are we all in?
Time to murder some rats.
No.
All right.
Or at least one.
Speaking of which, Coakley, you are up first. The rat's sitting there eating, but it now notices you all, and it steps dangerously close to the edge of this gemstone.
I cannot reach him because we are how far away? 120.
It's like, yeah, probably 120 feet up. Yep.
And the gemstone's like a 20-foot diameter thing that this 15-foot huge or large creature is like curled up, crawled in. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like in it, and it was just you saw it like scraping all this gemstone off and like consuming it, eating it.
I will talk to Sorrel and Sorrel, let's try something new. This is from I learned this from a sport or pastime from one of the planes I had been visiting. I'm gonna reach into the water and I'm just gonna pick up a roughly fist-sized stone, and I'm going to lob it in the air in front of me, and I'm just gonna try and swing Sorrel as hard as possible to try and just launch a stone up at this rat.
Hell yeah. Guess make like
kind of like an improvised throwing.
Yeah, I don't
I don't even know what this is. Like a sling. What's a sling? Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where is a sling?
A sling is.
Sling does 1d4 bludgeoning.
Oh, and the range is 120. I know he's higher than.
Listen,
I know he's.
Is it a simple weapon, martial weapon?
Simple range.
Typically, simple range. All of these things seem to go in your favor right now for it being
Sling.
viable. So I like that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's probably gonna be a disadvantage because it's long range. However, disadvantage. Yeah, and then 1d4 bludgeoning
I'll just do my
with the slow property.
quarterstaff attack at disadvantage. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so a 14 if he's a +1 right now.
He is only a +1 right now. A 14 does not hit. It bounces off of his rat-like leathery hide. This time, you see. Well, unless you have a plan for next turn. Otherwise, if you're not going to make a plan, Sorrel will. I'm going to let you decide.
I am gonna move forward, and having learned from that a little bit, I'm gonna just get up on this rock, and I will compliment Sorrel in my head, and I'll specifically say, like, next time we can aim for the legs, and we can try and slow this creature down, which I think is the sap property.
Slow property.
Yeah.
There is a slow property.
Oh yeah, that's what it has anyways for slings.
Slow is the one I'll like specifically saying, like, hey, we missed, but I think we can get a better footing and try and aim at his feet to slow him down with the same type of move, with the same type of attack.
Okay. And so you hear Sorrel in your mind, and you see, again, doing the same kind of motion, but this time Sorrel's kind of like on board with what you're doing. So the two of you are like in line with what your next move is going to be, and he's going to be imagining the exact spot where the rat is right now.
Sweet.
So
Done.
on your next turn, if the rat is still there, it'll cancel out that disadvantage, and you'll have a normal roll. Telemachus, you are up.
Can you describe this terrain between us? This pink line.
It is
it's different.
rock
How much height?
wall. It is 100.
Alright.
The rat is 120 foot up. To the top of the giant statue is about 100 feet up. I know it kind of looks like he's a little bit shorter than that, but you kind of have to imagine this statue takes up most of the wall. Right, it's a really tall statue, a giant Adras
Okay.
orb above his
like,
head.
if I wanted to get here, so here's what I'd like to do. The problem is I have two things I'd like to do as a bonus action, and I don't know if I could like I want to cast the spell Jump. Can I cast that as an action? I also want a second wind. And if I can't do both, that's fine. But I want to pretty much use my whole turn to move up there. Actually, you know what?
Moving up there would be like climbing up this like vertical surface,
Yeah,
basically.
The grassy surfaces we're seeing on the map aren't actually there. I think it's just
Okay.
like a kind
There's
of
not like
flat
tiers
wall.
of height. Okay.
Yeah.
A flat wall. Okay. And you said he's teetering though? You did say that actually. Now that I
Yes,
think
he's
about
teetering on the edge. He kind of turned and stepped forward, expecting there to be gemstone where there wasn't, and he is like right on the edge, teetering. I'm gonna go back to like this page real quick to show you guys again.
Yeah.
What I was imagining.
We're more in a chasm. Okay.
Yeah, and then like the rock is like right above the thing's head, and you guys are like down beneath it, right? Sorry, yeah, this map isn't perfect. I chose this map because it was like huge, to kind of represent the size of the quarry, but
Yeah. No worries. I know what I want to do now. I want to cast Magic Missile at his feet and explode his ground that he's standing on.
all right. That's an auto hit. So you're targeting
baby.
the gemstone then.
What he's standing on. So he he is standing on firework geodes. Is what I'm going for. But yeah,
Roll
so
damage.
Telemachus will verbal somatic. What I will do, so what it's gonna look like is I will start chanting in. I don't know Sylvan. I think I wrote that I learned Draconic, but I don't know what the Kieran Kid language is. I almost imagine it's Sylvan Draconic. Um, but whatever my native language is, the tongues of the Kieran. I start chanting and I start hopping over because I just want to get closer to the base of the wall. And as I do, I'm just gonna like blow in my little cup chalice geode and then just start like simmering with like almost like powder chalk geode like radiant energy. And I will use my second wind bonus action as I do that, and then I'll also uh, shoot out three like small clumps like materialize together from the chalk powder, and they form into three like shimmering geode like rainbow crystals, and I point, and they all three go explode at his feet.
Roll me damage.
All right, so that's 3d4. I'll just cast it actually to make it faster. Cast.
All right. The geo cracks underneath his feet, and
Wait.
one large
That seemed to only roll 1 dart's worth of damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was weird. Why did it let that happen?
I don't know.
One roll sent.
Oh, because usually isn't magic missile just once, and it's like all three of them are that same damage?
No, it's supposed to be 3d4.
It's 1d4 plus 1 for each dart.
Yeah, I know, but isn't it you just roll once and then that's what each dart is?
I would welcome the player to lead with what they prefer. Like, I think either way could work.
Because
it could be the same
for magic missile. I'm just curious about like what it actually says though.
Actually, that's fair since this is a new spell.
A dart deals 1d4 plus 1. They all strike.
I always picture it as 3 rolls.
I always thought it was 3 rolls, but I don't know that came from any language I read. I just assumed.
There's no language in there that says roll 3d4 plus 3. It says a dart does 1d4 plus 1, and you create 3 darts and they hit at the same time.
Yeah. So, I always thought for magic missile it was weird like that, where it's like you roll once and then all the darts are that one.
Which would be kind of nice here because you roll max.
It's true, but I will also be casting magic missile, and
yeah.
I'd like to set I'd rather roll to 3, if that's cool. Okay,
let's do it that way.
I'll just because I don't know what the system's doing. I'll just roll fresh with the D4 right now. Okay, so 4 damage on the first dart, 4 damage on the second dart, and 4 damage on the third dart. I rolled 3 3s.
Nice.
And then my D10 self heal.
4, 8, 12. Okay.
I heal 7 for my second wind.
Cracks the gemstone underneath its feet. The second dart breaks one of its footholds, like the section under one of its foot, and it starts to topple in that direction. And the third one breaks the second foot, and this rat begins to fall forward. 120.
Hell yeah! The holy beam energy simmering on one hand, and now the magic missiles on the other, and I'm like and then I draw my swords, and I use my 30 movement to charge toward it.
Rat Avalanche.
Ouchie! What was that? 100 feet.
I found it.
It fell.
I found a setting last time that let the lines linger, and I really like it.
Oh yeah, when you pull out the measure tool, you can click fade, delay, linger.
Yeah, I really like that because this is always my thing of like I don't know where I start or where I end, you know.
You have
and
to.
I pull out
You have to let it linger.
Cranberry. And then I pull out my swords and I say, "Welcome." And I like slice them together just to make like scary iron ringing. That's my turn.
This fat rat plummets, landing on its head. As it hits, it barfs up a little bit of the gemstones. that had like stored in its like cheeks like a chipmunk. He spits them out. But actually, it's not going to get to its feet on this turn. It will potentially on the next turn, but it is Hyper Moby's turn.
Oh my god, I only just saw the damage roll. Holy hell.
Whoa!
Yeah. Took a big, beefy land on its head.
Done.
Beefy rat. Beefy rat.
Not the...
Well, a little easier than ascending 100 feet.
It's fully prone right now, so ranged attacks are probably disadvantaged, I assume.
It is prone currently.
Okay. Then I'm not going to use a high-powered.
I
thing
hate
on
that
it.
when it's like it's a big creature.
Huge
You know what I mean?
creature,
So,
even horizontal, it's
say-
still like a good target. Yeah,
I'm gonna
interesting.
say it's still a good target. I don't like that rule.
Maybe
I
can
go
use
over to
Something
him.
large,
I go over
like
to him.
that.
I'm like, "Can I offer you a hand up?" So he's not prone.
Yeah. That is interesting.
I
I
don't
might keep
understand
that in
that.
mind for my DMing too. Is like, once you start getting into large and huge creatures, that doesn't really apply anymore.
Yeah, his like
It's
butt
laying
is sitting
limp
up
with
in the
its
air.
neck exposed and it's
Yeah.
not moving
Yeah.
target.
It makes
Yeah, I'm
sense
not
with
gonna give you
a humanoid person that's
wizard.
horizontal from afar with a projectile. But yeah, cool.
So I'll say it's a flat roll for range, but still advantage for melee.
Cool. I will move up, just wading through some of the water here.
Otter and wizard combined is telepathy.
But it's true.
Amazing. An otter bunny.
Otter
Fire
bunny.
wizard.
Isn't that where
I
you got
will-
gas in Germany? Sorry.
I will once again. I did this earlier this day before our spring long rest, and haven't used any sorcery points since. I will summon my shadowy sword staff, so my scepter takes on that large, huge, oversized greatsword weapon appearance that has these like angelic wing, but it looks dark and like this jagged forked upside of a staff. I slam it into the ground, and then I reach to the sides, and the very air around me cracks, and shimmers of gossamer and iridescent light fuse into my form, and I channel them into my staff, raise it above me as I sacrifice 2 sorcery points to give myself 1 spell slot, and I use Prism Beam, which is chromatic orb, to target that creature.
Nice.
Pass.
I'm rolling some initiatives for our companions we forgot about.
Oh, was that my roll or someone else's roll? I don't think.
No, that was me. Sorry.
Yeah, my roll hasn't come through yet, but let me try and click it again. There we go.
Well, the first one was
okay,
great.
So you got 2 nat 20s
so-
handed to him.
Yeah, so I guess the third one
What
I
the
just rolled was delayed, and the first 2 times I clicked were nat 20s. But
What?
so I guess we'll go with the first roll.
Yeah.
So
Don't know
Holy
what
cow.
happened there. So what's funny about this is it's 3d8 typically, so this is 68. And what's the thing here? Oh, it can leap to a new target, but that's not relevant when there's only 1 target. So I do want to roll my rando dice to see which damage type it did.
Holy cow.
Because there's 5 options on this. Is that what this is?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6.
6. So I'll roll a
Because
d6.
it puts
So
acid
the
in
first
the
one.
category for some reason.
Yes, so 17 acid damage. So as this beam of light, like my sorcerer slashes, is just like rapidly changing from, it's again like it's almost like a mini prismatic spray, and I don't know which light is gonna per se affect it with energy. And it's this bright neon green, and you just see its skin starting to burn away from acid light, like radiation poisoning.
wow.
So I'll hit it for 17 points of acid.
Feel bad. This was a critical hit. However, this acid that you are sending at this creature seems to not be too damaging
enough.
to it.
Fair enough. So 8 potentially.
Yes.
Cool.
So it's gnarly and doesn't mind acid. This thing's gross.
Does not. Yes.
Dark Souls rat if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very cool. That'll be it for my turn. Bonus action to create that spell slot, and then action to crit for 8 damage.
If he's ever seen one.
Moritaba, you are up.
See a prone target. That is everything.
I'm a
Moritaba
simple
ever
man.
dreams of.
I'm a simple man. I see prone, I hit.
25 feet of movement, or dashing in there, or using Tempestus weapon for the damage. Two-handed, true strike, spear strike, silver one,
Ooh.
advantage.
Oh cow. Okay.
23.
That definitely hits.
This man's got a plan.
10, 9. So 11 radiant damage.
Very nice.
And then for bonus action, I'm only down 4 HP. Can this thing do 16 to me in a turn? That seems...
This thing was just pigging out in a rock.
I'm just gonna be preemptive here and roll my second win. And get back up to 4.
On that hit, you have officially bloodied this creature.
Cool.
Well, gravity did most of the bloodying, but
Yes. They are quite resilient beasts, but it is now bloodied.
Get in there, I do a big blast of strike, and the Tempestus energy and my own wind magic just like pounds in the wound further, probably in like one of its shoulders. And then I kind of take a step, brace myself, and heal up, and that will be my turn.
Jay and Jan are up. They are going to do the exact same action, but in opposite directions. They're both going to yell, "Get out of the way!" And Jan is going to dive behind this rock over here. And Jay is going to take a dash and go 60 feet in this direction.
Of what?
It's gonna breathe acid or something. Yeah, it's got like a breath weapon or some big blast, I gotta imagine. Or maybe they're just hiding, but we'll see. I do like that they're knowledgeable and we're not, and we see their defensive actions and are like, wait, what?
Yeah, we're like, huh?
out of the way.
We were just...
We got a short rest back. I am actually interested in using an action surge.
Okay.
And I'll just...
Well, we'll go back for that, sure.
You said that so academically.
If it's too late, because, yeah, you did their thing, that's totally fine, too.
Nah, we'll do it. Why not?
Step prone, same deal. And 6.
I can't wait for you to get action surge again at level 5. It just hits different.
6.
20 hits, 6 more radiant. Got it. Alright. That's your action surge. Back to Jan and Jiri. Jan and cover. Jiri sprinted 60 feet that way and is trying to get behind this rock over here. The rat gets to its feet. The Jalandi rat. You see it breathing deep.
Yeah.
And it is going to vomit on probably all of you. Let's see here.
Yes.
I love 2-second wins. I love 2-second wins.
I love being bloodied and having no healing. I love being bloodied and having no healing.
Oh, I have a heal if it comes to that.
I also think of the healing sortilege in my Winnow and how it's inert right now, having been hyper expended very recently.
2d4 is just such a sham amount of healing for an action. I wonder when that goes up.
What's the cone degree? Wait a minute here.
It's not necessarily a degree. You can snap mouth. There's a feature in here to where it says go to cone and then size. Instead of degree, lock width to height above. That's what the cone is however far it goes, that's the length of the mouth of it.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Oh, it's got to choose between Coakley and Moritaba, I think.
Yeah, I think it's only gonna be able to get. Well, no, it's gonna go for this because it can get kind of J maybe. But
Jay?
but you're right in front of it, so I think Coakley, you're gonna be in the clear. It's gonna go this. Ooh, wait, can I do the? Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah.
Come on,
That's
put it on
funny.
this. And it vomits up its stomach contests, including some gems. So you're getting blasted by both acid and bludgeoning damage from this breath attack from the Jalandi rat. So that's gonna hit Moritaba, Telemachus, and Hypermoby.
What kind of save is this?
This is a dexterity save. 60-foot cone.
Ooh.
Rat breath.
Rat breath.
Acid
Dexterity
and
save.
bludgeoning.
Oh, hell yeah, we made it. 21.
If you get above a 15, you are taking
Wow.
half damage.
Look at us.
Did you guys all save it?
Looks like it.
Yep.
Alright, the source of damage I don't think matters, so I'm just gonna roll a 48. Oh, you guys are
I
lucky.
have 10. I have 10 HP. I have 10
I have
HP,
18
so now I have
I have
1.
18 max HP.
Yeah.
I
All right.
barely lived through that breath,
I
even
was
on a
at
save.
16 before I healed, so I'm glad I did that.
9 damage to you all. Let's see if it gets its breath attack back. And it gets its breath attack
Oh
back.
jeez! Oh jeez!
We got to do it. We got to do it now. We got to kill it now. It's bloodied. We got to do it.
Well, how much did it take to get bloodied? 39 plus 25 or 20?
A lot of damage.
So we did 39, then I did 17.
You have done 94 damage to it.
Oh, and you blasted it. That's right.
And that was a 39. One of the turns was 39 damage. So like, I don't think our DPS is 90 per
We got
one
this.
round.
We got
No,
this.
it's definitely not.
But-
But
It is going to move though, and to try to get in a position where it can breathe on all of you. Let's see, where's it gonna go? It's gonna go around Moritaba. Oh no, it can't fit between you guys. No, because you guys are 2 sizes smaller, so it's gonna
yeah,
step
so you can
right
just walk
over.
over. Yeah.
It's gonna step right over Moritaba, and it's gonna get.
My line won't go away.
It knows how to line up breath attacks, so I don't mind it being like, I'm gonna scope this out.
I do
It's
when
gonna
I
get into a position right
break
there.
the line, I just go back to the instant mode and just draw a new line.
Okay.
But you have to.
Sure. So it repositions and never leaves combat range from Moritaba, but it does get in a good place to potentially breathe on all of you guys next turn as well. Oakley, you are up. Your plan has been thwarted because it is
My
not in
plan
its same
has been
position.
for Ted, yes. So I see Telemachus very clearly lining up where he's gonna go. Very clearly telegraphing where he's going. So, I am going to, because I know we want to spread out, because I saw that breath weapon happen. So I am just going to run. I think, because oh Jesus, I think I've got 40 movement speed. I am gonna run over to here to start spreading us around this rat thingy. And we're just gonna use a focus point. We're gonna do 3 attacks. 1 with the stick. I will apologize to Sorrel for the change. But I will say, just do the same exact swing. We're just hitting a much larger target. And I'll do the first swing with the quarterstaff at Ratface.
Rat face.
19 to hit.
19 hits.
What is that? Oh, that's a perfect roll. 11 bludgeoning.
Is it 12 bludgeoning? Because he's still +1.
Oh, 12 bludgeoning.
Ooh.
plus
We
one and a
can hit
half.
35 damage.
I got it. It's fine. It's fine. I got it. It's fine. I got it. And I
So
will
brave.
do 2 unarmed strikes. I'll do one just like baseball bat swing, and then I will put this behind my head and just like elbow him twice.
When I hit it to get it to 80 is when Tim said it's bloody.
Mm-hmm.
And it has only taken 5 more and now 11 more. So
First
so
unarmed attack.
60
He's
or
got-
70.
He's taken 105.
8 probably misses, and then my
An 8
other
definitely misses.
strike.
Oh,
21.
21 does
hit.
hit, yes.
And I will re-roll that d6.
Oh, sorry,
I
106
I
damage.
thought you said
Guys,
least.
I caught some of the rat's breath.
Oh, jeez.
7 bludgeoning on that second elbow.
Plus 1, 8. 8 bludgeoning.
Nope, because it's just my elbows, so it's not the plus 1.
Oh, right.
Action, bonus action, movement. End of turn.
Nice work, Coakley.
I hit him. It's private.
Oh, did you want to predict ahead of time? Call your shot, so to speak. Or advantage, by the way, I forgot to mention that. Same thing with ranged attacks. If you call your shot and it works,
Oh,
auto advantage.
I have the Yeah, I'll flash back to the monkey fight where I think we did this once. Envisioning the topple feature, and I will actually go back to what Sorrel put in my head, where like he became noodly at the end, and I will tell him that he should just make the last 2 feet of his thing noodly, so that I'll like swing at the ankle to like try and trip up this rat.
So for the topple.
Yes, I will try and go for the topple and I'll say the condition will be the rat is still near me, that I could hit
Got
his.
Okay, so rat's got to be there to get its feet. Sweet. Telemachus.
All right. I am going to start out my turn, collect some of the ambient dust floating around me, and pull it in through my breath, and take a second wind, so I can not be at 6 HP. Oh, I roll 8 healing. Yeah, and that's my bonus action. So then I'll take my prescribed path to flank over here, and not be in its breath range if he wants to go for Moby. And I'm going to use my 2 swings. I'll do my first with my short sword, which will vex and give me advantage on my second swing with my Nick scimitar. So the first is just a regular roll. And
Flanking. We're still playing flanking, remember.
We're close.
I should
Well,
roll that
that's
with
fine.
advantage then. It's nat 17 plus 5, so 22. I forgot about flanking actually, and I roll a max
22 hits.
damage, which is 9. So that is, and I don't know if it matters, but it would be short sword is piercing. So I pierce into its fat, flabby, acid hide, and then I will slash at it with my scimitar, curling around. And I roll another 17, so 22, and that's 8 damage.
All right. This thing's chewed up.
And that's my turn.
Piper, Moby.
I like to think almost Stormlight vibes, but kind of in reverse in a way. I love the way they talk about Shardplate when it's cracked and broken, it's leaking light, but I almost think of it as like my mage armor form being so damaged because I'm at 1 hit point right now. It's just like there's barely any wisps of shadow hanging on to me now. It's like, yes, it's still functional armor, but like I'm just beaten, bloodied, and you can see how bad I am. So I sort of use my spear staff or my sword staff that's still embedded in the ground to like hoist myself back up, and I just slowly start backing away, get my sword ready, start building power and channeling light into it, and then I'll just like back up, and then bonus action to use a Cloud's Jaunt to disappear, like turning into steam and transmorphing across a distance to land on this rock. and then I will loose my sword swing through the air, and a crescent of prismatic light shears toward them. So just a single roll for a
Sweet.
cantrip. 14's not going to do it, though. Wait,
No.
this thing is dangerous enough. I'm going to use my heroic inspiration on it. I would like to hit this thing.
Ooh, sweet.
Questionable to use it on a single cantrip, but I'm going to do it.
Well, use it before you lose it.
And you might get another bag.
Truth.
Ooh.
And it paid off. 24 to hit. I will do the damage roll here. It's not necessarily acid, even though it'll probably roll that way. Oh, of course, it did full damage roll. Let me roll for my little die here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 psychic damage to the creature.
Psychic is normal effectiveness, so that is better than the last time you blasted it.
Perfect.
Takes the full 6 damage.
I'll do it for my turn.
Moritaba, you're up. It's not looking great, but it is still standing.
Still standing and still scary.
It's got a little chunk of HP left, but
I see Coakley kind of locked in on a plan, so I'm going to try and, pull the rat's attention this way as I circle around it a bit to try and flank it better and try and make it focus on me as kind of the last threat that it has been damaged by. And I will take an attack at it. Tempestuous weapon, let's go for +1 to hit. 16 to hit.
16 hits.
Very nice.
That is a good decision for you. Meets it, beats it.
Wow.
9 radiant damage, and then my final second wind to heal up, because I am at about half. Not my best roll, but still worth it.
You know what? We love you for it.
I'm just trying to be really aggressive in this thing's face. I want it looking at me, because I see my friend has a plan.
Look at these arms.
And that's my turn.
Jay's up. Jay is going to, before he runs and hides behind this rock here, he is going to cheer you on, Moritaba, and he calls to you, Moritaba, remember, you are a hero, you can do it! And he hides behind the rock. And he will grant you, his cheer is going to give you advantage on your next roll.
Oh, very nice. I thought you were going to say he cheers you on. All right.
Nothing for that. Jan is going to peek out from behind these rocks here, and you're going to see him preparing a spell. Specifically, you see him breathe out his sortilege, and he's going to prepare something. Rat's turn. Ooh, Mike, any way I can get you to turn off that movement? Is that still on for anybody else, or is it just me?
Yeah,
No, that's my bad.
Alright. Much better, thank you. Just to help me see a little bit better. He is going to do this. He's going to use his movement first. He's going to step over these two right here. Moritaba, that does give you an attack of opportunity.
I will go for it.
Advantage
Kinda
for
forgot
my
he could-
J.
I don't know.
Advantage for the J tier, calling you heroic and saying that you can do it.
I'm going to go back to +1 to damage for this one.
Okay.
Oh, I can't do a
If you
cantrip,
hit-
so how does that affect things? It increases my chance to hit by 1, but it's going to change the damage type.
Okay.
So let's do right here. Roll this.
22 hits.
7 or 7.
8
after
piercing.
roll it again.
Oh.
Once per turn. And this is a different turn.
This is a different turn, so yes.
So
Ooh,
12
better.
piercing damage.
Nice.
Oh. You're close, but was not enough. it is now going to breathe,
The relish in your voice.
and I think it can get, yeah,
Oh
it's gonna get
no,
Jan
Jan!
hopping in it too. Gonna breathe on all of you guys.
I just don't want to see a
However,
dead Moby.
this is the
Oh.
triggering feature that Jan was waiting for, and Jan unleashes his magic in a line right
Wall
here.
spell.
A stone
Yes!
wall emerges, and
That's
I'll
so
draw.
sweet.
That is so cool. Holding a spell to block a whole breath spell. That's fucking awesome.
And the rat vomits on the wall instead. Bleh. Saving you all from having to make rolls for that, but we'll see if it gets his breath back. It does not get its breath back. It used, let's see, how much did it use to get here? About 20 feet. This wall extends kind of from all the way from the quarry wall all the way down 60 feet. So it's going to use another 40 feet to start clamoring towards Hypermovie. Oakley,
Well,
you
that's
are
good.
up. There is a 20-foot wall kind of blocking you from the rat right now.
Shit.
5 foot tall, 60 feet long.
Can I get around this wall to the north or no? Is it like fully into the
No,
water?
yeah, it's like extending from the. I should have drawn it a little bit better. Let me draw it slightly better. All right.
It's just like 20 feet tall and it's encompassing the entire bottom basin.
Yeah, it's basically that down 60 feet. Yeah, and I'll draw it right now for you guys. But do better.
20 feet high. That's tall.
20 feet tall.
What kind of wall is this? Is this just like solid stone?
All of stone. Did I draw it at 60?
Let's do a little.
No, I made it too big.
Yo, I can't just while Stu's thinking in the background, I'm just like floored at if I didn't do this process, the amount of data, like it's like a book. Like if like someone hires me as a teacher, this is like an encyclopedia of so many things I would not have to recreate. It's just like it makes me uncomfortable as like I'm taking like a semester's worth of curriculum. Like at least 15 slides are critical. So like it's just funny. Tim might be able to empathize.
Oh yeah, I've had to do that twice where you have to like get all of your files and it's like, oh my god, this is 10 gig of stuff. Like how?
Yeah.
How?
It's like I would be
But
lost
split
without it.
into like 2 megabyte files.
Yeah.
Because you're only brilliant like this once.
Yeah.
You only make these assignments this well once, and then you
Oh,
don't ever have to
it's
do
like-
it again. You have your
It's like
frame.
hundreds of hours of work too. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
Uncanny. Sorry, Steve, have you figured out your move?
Yeah, I will bonus action. Wait, because I forget if I can action bonus action. Can I just?
Oh, he's gonna
I
monk
think
this.
you can just bonus action dash.
I agree. I think Step of the Wind just lets you do that.
Yeah, step of the wind. This is what I remembered last week is that I can take bonus action dash as a bonus action. So I have 7. So I will bonus action dash and I will move because I have 40 feet of movement to start, and I will use my 75 to scoot all the way around this wall, to get over here.
Insane.
That is insane.
And I will, as I'm doing it, I will be coaxing Sorrel to go into limp noodle hook mode at the end, and I will make an attack to attempt to topple this rat Tyrannosaurus.
no advantage because you did not get a successful calling of your shot originally. It has moved positions since then.
Yep.
So normal roll, but you will be able to use the topple feature.
Wait. Action quarterstaff. Roll high. 23.
23 hits. Didn't need advantage.
Roll 1d8 to see if I get higher. I did not. So 10 10 bludgeoning.
How do you kill this creature?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I like that this thing's barreling towards me, and then I just see Coakley running faster than it come around, and then just.
I was also imagining it like as the wall was still being formed, I was like running with the wall, like it was being
Yes.
formed towards me because
And
it
then you just go in front of it right before it. Dude,
like
that's sick.
the important part of the wall would have been up here, like on the north side. So like I imagine the wall coming out of the wall, seeing it, and then I run around, and Sorrel grips the ankle so well that I hit it, and I continue spinning, and I rip the foot off, and I come back around, and I make the rat kick itself in the head to die.
Amazing.
Amazing.
It's like
Amazing.
spiked foot, like from its claw on its foot, like jabs through its brain.
I imagine I do have to like I rip it off and I have to like launch it up because this thing is like 15 feet taller or up,
Yeah.
above me, and I will launch the foot up into its like chin or brain or whatever it is.
Yep.
That visual is locked in my brain forever. That turn was just very cool.
Kick to death.
Because
So
the wall next to you starts to like dissolve as the acid that the rat breathed that would have been like right in your face like was blocked by this stone wall, but the stone wall now collapses
Yeah,
and crumbles from this acid.
It also has hit points. You can beat your way through that wall. So sick.
Yeah. But yeah, rat dead. Jan comes out of hiding. Same thing with Jiri.
I just fall to a knee and I'm just taking some breaths.
I have to use the restroom so bad. Is this a good bio break time?
Yeah, we can take a bio break and we can recollect from there.
Hell yeah.
Fabulous.
See you in a couple. So in the tutorial, we've seen rats, storms, and curses. Rats, storm clouds, and curses.
All three of them on the same Skyland.
Something ain't rat.
Something ain't rat.
Something ain't rat.
Dude,
Say
I'm
rat.
so impressed. I'm so impressed that two of the neighbors that border my yard have decided to mow their lawn while I was out here playing D&D. First, it was the one directly next to me, and I was the one over.
I did mine this morning.
Idiot.
Sorry, I should have done it during D&D. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I yell into
What's
my
that,
headphones.
what's that from? You get an aggressive yeah from someone who's like,
It
oh,
is
it's
from.
Ennis.
It's from. They moved to the burbs in. It's Always Sunny. Hot
Oh,
one today,
God.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever hear of storm like that, Wally? Just unhinged. You're
Yeah.
eating Dennis.
Oh my god, that one is so good.
It's an
That's one of the
incredible episode, all timer. Yeah.
Because that's also got Seize the Gap in it. Oh, great episode.
You
It
cow!
really is.
He's the guy.
That is me driving.
Correct.
And that's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's my rage is most at the surface in the car.
Dude, I will tell you, I very much think it's ADHD related.
That's funny.
I
It's
think
mostly
that
just the fact that everyone other than us is bad drivers.
that's true, but there's something about ADHD people, like the punishment of doing executive functioning is higher. And when I'm doing an executive functioning task I don't want to do, and then it gets harder despite my will, like driving sucks. But then when people make it worse is when I'm like, that's when I go feral, you know? How's your son?
It's Michael Michaels. Here, let me put your headphones on.
Michael, Steve.
Hi, Ducky.
Hi, Michael Michaels.
Hi, Ducky.
Hi, little
Say hi, Michael
Hi, little
Michaels.
D. Hi, little D.
Can you wave hi?
Hi.
Can you wave? Can you say hi, Michael Michaels? There you go. That works. Good enough. All right.
Dude,
you
I
go
love
take
that
it.
we're like a twin concept in
You're
his
good, yeah.
mind.
You say bye.
Whenever he
I'm
sees,
taking a
does he
happy
call you
nappy.
Michael even if I'm not there, MK?
I think
Good
so.
enough.
Well, I think
Because that's what he
Thank
did
you.
to me.
I think he can't. Uncle is also Michael, so he says Uncle Michael, so he says Michael, and then it also works because we're both there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are now collectively Michael Michaels, which means Uncle Michael and Uncle Michael, and it's interchangeable who's who. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I've
I have
been
the
hearing
new
it
rat
the
token.
whole time.
Yeah, I found a fatter rat. I feel like this one's a little bit
Oh.
closer.
Wait, can you blow that up again? I just exited out of it.
That,
we didn't
but like
need that.
Yeah,
the
that's
spikes
horrible.
out of its stomach are like
The shards, yeah.
of the crystal it was eating.
I was picturing like a chubby, greasy Remy. Like Remy's brother from Ratatouille.
No, this looks like
That's
this is
not
like
what I was
Elden Ring
imagining.
Rat from Nutcracker.
That is Elden Ring Nat rap.
Yeah, totally.
Elden.
Amazing.
Alright. Jan will walk up to all of you guys and say, a juvenile. Luckily, we
What?
took care of it before it grew too large.
Telemachus has like a sword in it, and he's like, my first mature Jalandian rat. I forget the accent. And then you go a juvenile. Have you slain one of these before?
Ah, the
Okay.
runt of the litter.
Never. Well, no, but it's been a long time. Or yes, but it's been a long time. I wonder, with a dandelion here without its roar, maybe that's why. Or that's where it came from. Without the dandelion to scare it off, made its home here, consumed the gemstone of the reliquar. Ill that it destroyed such an old and, I guess, holy, divine location such as this.
Excuse me,
But-
but was that rat born from that geode? Or was it simply devouring it?
It must have
I think
burrowed
it-
its way in at some point.
Yes. I believe its infrastructural damage it was causing from within caused the sheer face to drop off the front. It must have. There's likely to be a burrow hole in the back, I suspect.
Probably as a larva, and it grew within.
Well, that's gross.
Disconcerting.
Yes.
Well, hopefully
We
once
should
you-
keep an eye out for others. When there's one, there might be others. I wonder. This just makes me think of what happened to.
Hopefully now that the dandelion has been cured, hopefully we can get back to ridding the Skyland of these.
What's
Makes
the
me think of what
gemstone
happened to
situation?
Corsica.
Oh.
Makes me wonder what happened to Corsica. You claim that you've seen storm clouds here. We know we fought curses, and now rats? Wonder what befell of Corsica. If similar things happened to them, but they did not have mighty heroes to defend them from such evils.
And Corsica was the other spine island that famously disappeared with the attachment of the Amber Winds last year. Okay.
Yes, indeed. And then to your question, Mike, the gemstones are looking very acidic-y. The ones that were inside this rat's body are slowly dissolving into like a slime mush. Not much to be salvaged, but potentially you could look for shards that fell when that kind of front half of it broke off.
I will go sift around and look because that's of interest to me.
Okay. Make a investigation check for me.
I'd like to also-
Absolutely.
I'd like to also ask a question to the group, as Telemachus is distracted.
Is
It's not about him. He's welcome to put his input in, of course. But is anyone here knowledgeable about the happenings last year at Corsica? Were they able to achieve a ritual being completed, or did they not complete a ritual? If they did, what kind?
Ooh, yeah, what did they choose?
If they even managed to complete it at all?
Jay and Jan do not know the answer to this question, but you guys can make history checks, I suppose.
I'll
we-
not, since I asked the question.
Because we spoke to the the Smoke Genasi and his son.
Graydon.
Was that?
Graydon and his son was Rem.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And he was telling us all about the rituals and which of the three types and stuff, but I don't think I knew to ask or that he volunteered information. This is what happened at Corsica. I think I would have taken that note.
He did mention that his wife was there, though.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
I might want to go pay him another visit if we don't know this to ask him more there.
He was last seen in the Ease and Breeze, and yes, that was kind of. He did not mention Corsica 2 specifically about what ritual they performed. He did not get that information. But let me check out your history checks. Yeah, you guys.
Directly inspired, I did not know.
No. Not enough.
I'm not rolling this because
intel.
I'm distracted.
Not enough intel about that event. It was quite a mysterious thing that occurred. You do, Coakley, maybe you've been in Jaland, or maybe it's just something that you remember somebody saying, you don't remember where, but you just have this memory that, yes, the goal was to perform a ritual and connect the Amber Wind in some way. So there was plans to perform a ritual of effervescence. What type, what kind, who was going to do it, why, what was the purpose of it? You're not sure about that. But yes, there was a goal to do that. Multas 14 investigation. You are able to kind of sift through the wreckage of this gemstone, and I'm gonna have you roll a d10 for me, please.
Oh yeah. 8.
You find 8 shards that seem large enough to have some magical value to them, or at least like monetary value as well.
Shards of what? Crystal?
Yeah, of
Reliquar crystal?
yeah, reliquar crystal, we'll call it.
Okay.
The sinners back in town, the Dark Redeemers, that faction, where is that typically? What island is that typically from? That faction of the Dark Redeemers.
So that faction specifically is not necessarily associated with a specific location, but more so Jaland and the Spine they can be found in. So Spine and then Jaland proper itself. But if you want to know more about them, I will make you make a religion check.
I'd be happy to. I was maybe even less about them. I want to try and remember if there's a faction related to Uparsha, as that's Rialtus is kind of the one Jin we're not paying homage to right now, or we're not putting it to this ritual.
Uparsha is probably the kingdom that is most isolated from all the others. In terms of a specific faction, because they are the most isolated, the plasma or ooze genasi actually are one of the few types of genasi jinn that are not found in other kingdoms. So they are quite isolated to their kingdom, their series of islands. So there is no specific faction associated with them. They seem to be
compete with the others or anything like that.
Yeah, they seem to be isolated and doing their own thing, whereas in the other kingdoms there is more of a spread of information. You'll find some Ash Genasi in other kingdoms. You'll find some Sand Genasis, a few of them everywhere, right? Met, I believe, all types of Genasi besides the Ooze Genasi here just in Selkirk alone.
See ya.
Bye, Steve.
Coakley shut off for a second. Very well. Let us away from this place. I'm having trouble keeping myself together. And we still have much to do. Get these Picto Obscura charges back to Tinnit for his use. And then ideally rest at the Ease and Breeze.
All right. So we'll kind of skip you guys traveling up and out of the quarry. Able to climb up that rope without any issues, no real stress because nothing really bugging you on the way up. You don't have to be stealthy or anything like that. So you travel back through the Selkirk woods towards Selkirk proper, the town village of Selkirk. Takes you, maybe an hour, 2 hours to get back. And on your way back, when you get to the northern gate, You're gonna see something that wasn't there originally. As you guys return to the gate, you see Wendell standing in front, but you also notice that there's been a lot of activity occurring in front of the gate currently. You see all sorts of individuals from the town of Selkirk, and they seem to be moving and preparing boxes and crates of goods and items, bringing them from the gate to just like outside of the gate, seemingly in preparation for the ritual and the post-ritual celebrations that will be occurring and starting tomorrow. I probably should have asked if anybody wanted to have any conversations on their way back before we get to this scene here. Anything anybody wanted to say or do?
Multiple times I will, whether I'm in front and I slow down to do this, or at times I'm just walking within the group and my body language shifts. Multiple times my behavior indicates a certain pattern, and I would like all three of you guys players to make a insight check on me.
He pooped his pants.
He said something that has a lot of that, isn't it?
Insight, you say?
Yep.
I'm talking to the stick.
12.
I would say Moritaba is the one that, as the player was aware too, I keep trying to, I sort of slow my pace and look over at Coakley and think about striking up a conversation, then I hold myself from it. You see me do that multiple times, which is strange, because I'm not one to like shy away from confrontation or hard decisions, or I'm certainly very brusque with willing to, let's discuss something that's important to me. I'm being weirdly sheepish about and almost trying to gather courage to talk about a thing, and I keep choosing not to. Coakley doesn't seem aware. Telemachus doesn't seem aware, but you catch that. That's all.
I'm just looking at my geode as we're walking and not really saying a lot because there is a lot to reflect on. Just got hit with a lot of information. Easy for me to understand why I'd be missing that.
I am actively talking to Sorrel in my head, and like just doing katas with the stick and doing like this every now and then to prove to Sorrel that we are working better together.
You'll practice with Sorrel for a little bit, but eventually, maybe halfway through the journey, it'll kind of just slither out of your hands and return to Jan. And Jan will use it. Kind of at the same time that you notice that Jan is kind of slowing down his pace. You know, he is quite old.
He needs his walking.
Yeah, and maybe Sorrel kind of senses this, and he returns to Jan, and Jan is able to pick up his pace using Sorrel as a walking stick. Moritaba, anything from you on the journey?
I don't think so.
Okay. You guys get to the gate, and Wendell stops you all as she approaches. And she says, "Ah, the dandelion hunters. How did the hunt go? Were you able to slay the beast that wounded and injured so many of our citizens?"
Indeed, we were. We took care of it. We did not slay the beast, but rather found a means to rid it of its curse and let it resume its prowling around its home in the Quarry of Kings. Suffice to say, hopefully, rat infestations should not be an active threat to this Skyland.
hears you mention the word curse out loud, she kind of moves in closer to you and looks around to see if anybody or overheard you mention that. And she says in more of a hushed voice, "So, you took care of the curse then? And rats now as well?"
Rats won't be a problem now that the dandelion. I'm choosing my words carefully to not like spark panic that there were rats, and rather, I don't think rats should be a problem right now.
The rats that weren't a problem before are still going to continue not being a problem.
Yes.
Amazing.
Exactly. As well, we had a meaningful visit to the spring in anticipation of tomorrow's ritual. We are optimistic that things should go smoothly tomorrow.
That is good. We have been preparing for the festivities, and to know that the spring is clear and available to us and rid of all dangers puts me at ease. Your efforts here are noted amongst the people. Word has spread about your good deeds here, so there are many in town who may be wishing to buy you a drink this evening prior to the ritual. For my part, I've got many preparations to get through. We are preparing for the firework display that shall occur after the ritual. And she kind of points to all the boxes and crates around, and you do notice that, in fact, they are packed full of various fireworks, kind of looking like Gandalf's
Yes.
little cart, you know what I mean? So there's like all sorts of different shapes and different variety of colors of fireworks. And she says, "But I must be back to my task here. Welcome back. Not sure what to call you all. The Lion Hunters, I guess, is not an adequate name since you did not slay any lions."
The dandies.
No.
I don't want to say this out loud right this second and unilaterally decide something, but part of me did have the thought that if Moby wanted, for branding's sake, we should have a name so that we can remain, quick on the tongues of people, rising in our favor. I was thinking, I come from the Order of the Four Winds here. What if we are heralds of the Four Winds and like bind them to our stuff, and then obviously Eridon tie. Would actually be the four FOUR winds, dissimilar to our group name.
Oh.
But I didn't want to unilaterally say that, but that is something that came into my mind recently.
Perhaps by the end of the festival tomorrow, you will have a name to remember us by.
Till then, I will continue to call you the Dandelion Hunters, I suppose. But a more apt name is definitely needed. But you have my thanks, and you have the thanks of all from Selkirk. And she signals for the gate to be opened and to permit you all entry into Selkirk.
Wendell, before we leave your acquaintance again, if indeed word has begun to bring us particular reputation, what actions might we pursue if we are to earn formal permission to advocate for ourselves to conduct the ritual? I know there is not clear guidelines on who is able to conduct the ritual or what groups of individuals. Some of the individuals we met at the Isenbreeze sought to do this in their own faction's name. How do we vie for ourselves being considered?
Well, the formal decision is not made until tomorrow. That is when all who wish to have their names put forward to perform the ritual will come and speak before the ritual begins, at the spring itself.
Oh.
That is when
And
you
the-
will announce your candidacy, so to speak.
And will the decision be left to the Kieran of the spring?
In a way, the decision will be made in two parts. One by the people of Selkirk, and two by the Kieran. We will decide who shall go forward to the Kieran. Both will need to be in agreement for the ritual to be performed. Otherwise, we will have to try again on another day.
Very well.
But I do suspect that there will be others who put their name forwards as well. If you're asking what can you do to improve your standing before then, you've done quite a lot already, but it doesn't hurt to be seen amongst the people. Where are you staying? I think we directed you to the Ease and Breeze, correct?
Indeed. I have thoughts for what efforts might be required there. Thank you for your words, Wendell.
Indeed. And she raises her hand and reaches it forward and presents it to you all.
I do the respective salute or hand gesture that I'm forgetting in this moment, whether dropping your hand at your side or holding it out.
Ever since, I don't think this is the first time she did it, this is the second time that she indicated kind of a respect or an equal footing as you all, as she breathed into her hand and dropped it forward towards you.
We'll do that as well.
Because it's like you give respect, you give your breath, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Otherwise, you like hold it up and you keep it to yourself. Is that the other one?
No, you drop it down to your
At the
side.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Ooh,
it really would have helped if we had been able to save some of the healing magic for Shin. That would have gotten us someone in our favor to argue that we were good people. I say as we walk away.
Almost just brought you to a map that would have been catastrophic, so I'm glad I didn't.
Oh man.
Battle of Love and Top.
Alright, so here we are. You guys are at the Northern Gate. That's where all the fireworks were stacked up on the outside. Anywhere we want to head to in town. We've kind of visited most locations.
Sir, me addressing Moby, I guess if you have an interest in engaging with the townsfolk, perhaps I could run the Picto to Tinnet and help him get that underway. I don't know that requires all of us.
An interesting suggestion. I will seize the opportunity to begin communing with the populace, if that is available for you all. I do think, as I stated yesterday, stories are useful for gathering and directing the hearts of those who will listen. I will mean to put in substantial effort to that the rest of the day and overnight, with drinks in hand, should it be required, even if my sleep and restfulness suffer for it.
Jan's gonna speak up and say, we should head to the Ease and Breeze first, before we split our separate ways. Let's get a meal in us, let's rest, and then we can go about our separate ways if we wish to accomplish these goals.
I'm going with the flow, so I'll go that way.
Does Telemachus indicate anything verbally of that exact mentality?
I think it's like a lot of probably like I mean just like there's conversation happening between our characters as we're going about. So I'm happy to say like right now you guys would just get the impression from Telemachus like, whoa, this is crazy. Pretty cool. So much to learn. Like he is very engaged with this, but even now is like
but not emotionally
thinking of him.
driven in a specific
I think he's
direction.
still. I think he really like obviously likes the camaraderie and like likes the fact that we're being effective at doing things, and he wants to create a name for himself. But like, yeah, the mission is not at his heart yet. The most you've seen him engage in acts of passion were like when the Kieran was being defiled, and then when that crystal, which is like would literally I think is like what his homeland looks like, and I think he has these like strong connections with these geodes, and he just found one, and like there's some sacredness there. So like you're still seeing him mainly moved by like his connection with his people, and actually like is still
sure.
kind of alien here.
Just with your flippant sort of go with the flow attitude over time, I don't think this would even be visible from insight necessarily, but like my nostrils start to flare. I'm like starting to steam a little bit, even like physically, just because I'm now paying more attention. My attention is shifting off of Coakley and toward you with a very different emotional set of circumstances.
And I'd be oblivious.
And I will confront you about it soon, I hope. But otherwise, head to the Ease and Breeze.
Yeah, conversation. Jan is going to direct the way to the Ease and Breeze. He's ready to take a rest, get off his feet. Specifically, he wants to get back to, like I mentioned, get some food, get some beverage, get some drink, and rest a little bit. So I know we're running low on time, and we're not gonna get a long rest just yet. It sounded like there's a few things that we want to do tonight, but I will direct us to go ahead and level up to level 3.
Ooh, nice.
After this long rest.
Big shoopy.
So we can kind of end here, kind of just sitting in the tavern, and you guys can start your level up to level 3. And then next time we'll start here. Any conversation we need to have at the tavern, any like last minute quests that we need to get done before nighttime, and then tomorrow morning you'll be heading towards the shrine for the ritual of effervescence. And then one of the other things to think about too, in between, a little bit of homework to think about is like what is your role in the ritual gonna look like, right? Like the way the ritual works is like pretty nebulous. Like it can be like however we want to like imagine it. But like what's your character gonna do, and then we'll make it like that's kind of like that was your task. Like there is this like set list of things that need to be done, and like your character is doing the like somatic like karate chop moves that needed to take place during this ritual. Or like your character is doing the singing. Yeah, or the dancing, or the storytelling, or the ritualistic breathing, or the magic display, or something. Whatever it is, the chanting. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that occurs.
Mine's very, very going to be straightforward, and I'll put some thought behind it to hit like certain beats and bullet points, but in general, I want to be a storyteller. I've been saying this thing about stories having the power to sway minds and all that, and Hyperivel / Moby really sees himself as like, I need to command these people to do what I want. So yeah, I'm gonna like pull on their heartstrings and try and like urge them emotionally, but it's really like sort of I need them to do what I want. So he will be very invested in that piece.
You were also directed to get a new outfit from Jiri at one point for this. So think about what your ritual outfit is going to look like. Because Jiri will be taking you all to the tailor. And purchasing you guys new clothing.
Tim, I know part of the ritual, like we're picking the version of the ritual, like Umbra or whatever the other one was that
Saka and Sword of Lazarus.
Can you remind me, like, if we weren't here, what is the main reason that this ritual is done? Like, is it just like an annual celebration, or?
No, it can be done by anybody at any time. It's more
any
so
spring.
like
We're
at
doing
any
it now
spring.
because the new wind is here.
New wind is arriving tomorrow, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
this
there's an
new wind has been
intuitive
growing.
cultural reason we would want to do it now.
Okay.
But anyone making a pilgrimage to any spring might conduct a ritual there, giving honor to that spring when they
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Right. And these beings of like power go to the more kind of larger springs, the ones at the kingdoms, and it grants them with power, with magic, with in some ways like a binding over the place, a connection to that location, to the people there. Jeb mentioned that they performed the sortilaginous one, which is the binding. So the people were kind of like bound to like their will in a way. Like when they went and asked for an army of sword saints, they agreed, right? Because these people had performed that ritual at the spring. When Jiri went, he performed the Haka, and so he had the power. Like it gave him like a power boost. You know what I mean? He could go Super Saiyan basically, right? Like it gave him like the next level up in terms of like his physical being. So when you guys are making your decision, it's going to affect in a few ways. One, it's going to affect the story, which one we pick. But two, when you perform the ritual, there will be a reward or a benefit to your characters. Will be based on which one you pick. If you are successful with your ritual.
Gotcha.
If
Hell
if
yeah.
is good.
If is good. Where are merchandise?
So I get to add 2 spells to my spellbook. I get reveal 2 spells from my spellbook.
I get spells.
Whoa!
Eldritch.
I imagine you're a kaleidoscope little gyro meteorite thing that you use for all your light spells stuff. I imagine it like one of those impossible puzzles where they're so intricate and difficult, and you just found a compartment of this other part of it that like.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. So, Baron, if you're playing with that device, and that's going to be part of your level up, you do stumble upon a setting which grants you access to 8 stories, specifically the 8 first chapter stories that you guys have listened to, the first third of Gen 2's story. I believe I've already given you all access to it, so if you go into the notes section on Roll20, you should be able to see Journal of Gen 2 entry 1 through 8.
Heck yeah, that's sweet.
So that is accessed when you leveled up to level 3. They were stored within there somewhere, but just the first third of the journal.
I'll reveal that in character to you guys next session.